Hello guys and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Moza. I'm from the Crash Bangers team, and in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to create a beat in Ableton from start to finish without any BS, without slowing you down. This is an educational type of content, so I will expand on my workflow and do everything without shortcuts or anything. So it's just straight knowledge, and if you use it in another program you're gonna master it without any problems, because you will master the technique of beat making and you'll be able to apply it, simply said. In this tutorial though, I'll be talking only about Ableton. And by the way, this tutorial is only for beginners, and yeah, in some of our next series we're gonna cover tutorials for a more experienced crowd, but this one is completely for beginners. So in Ableton, in the upper part of the screen, we have play, stop and record buttons. We have the automation button, we're gonna cover that a bit later. We have the select button and so on. The loop button. And as you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen, we have the info view, where you basically get information about every option you want to use. So basically, if you just hover over an option, you'll see the explanation of what that option actually does. As you can see down, this is a punch-in suite option. So if we activate this option, we're preventing arrangement recording prior to the punch-in point. Here we have the tracks, as you can see, so it's a bit different because in Ableton you have your tracks on the right side. And that's where we have all the track options. So it's the record button. You can record on the chosen or selected track. If you disable the track numbers, you'll disable that particular track. So it's basically a mute button. Down here you have the tracks for the control automation, and by default you have the reverb, delay and master track. And likewise, by default, you have two Midis and two audio tracks. Up here, you can set the tap tempo, the same as in the FL Studio. Here we have the BPM. Let's set this one to 151. Here, by default, you can also choose and set the bar. You can set it to 1 bar, for example, and that's gonna affect your guidelines on the screen and your margins for the track. On the left side here, you have your selections and your categories. So if you choose sound, you have the preset defaults and one-shots that you can use to build up your beat. You have drums, you have a drum rack that's kind of working like a drum machine. These are default kits. You have 808, you have core kits and so on. And the important thing is you can manipulate and change all those sounds, and you can do this without any problems, and I'm going to show it to you shortly. Here you can choose some instruments. It's divided in categories. So for instance, analog, brass, bass, guitars, pads, pianos and keys, strings. Then we have the audio effects, and we're going to be using those throughout our mix. You have MIDI effects, and those last options, well, except for the plugins and the samples, they don't really have to interest you at the moment. And right here you can see that I added my samples and drum kits from my FL Studio, which I personally use when I'm working. And yeah, that's basically it for the introduction part of the program. In the upper left corner we have drop menus, file. You can create a new set, a new live set. You can open old ones, open recent ones. You can install packs. You can manage files. You can save projects, save project as, save a copy of your project, collect all and save, and you can export audio and videos. And you can see the shortcuts for the keyboard on the right side of the drop menu. Then in edit we have undo, cut, copy, paste, delete, rename, freeze track, and so on. In create we have capture and insert scene. We have insert audio track, insert MIDI track, insert return track, blah blah blah. In view You can choose what's gonna be enabled in your program. So track mixer, track delay, automation mode, blah blah blah. And in options we have the edit MIDI map, edit key map, computer MIDI keyboard. You can go into draw mode when you're drawing notes, which I'm gonna show you later. Then you have preferences of the program. And if you have any problems, you can always go to the help section. You can visit ableton.com and you can always check in with our support. It's 24/7. We're always here to help you, so just send us a message. Okay, so let's get started with creating a very simple trap beat. Once again, this is only for beginners. This is a kind of training for creating better beats and better sounds and so on. So let's start with the drums. Let's use a default drum rack. We can take the 808 core kit, click and drag it to the bottom of the screen. Let's give it a minute to load. Okay, so now as you can see, we have the whole rack down here with all the controls. We have the sample. Here you can see all the samples that we have in this drum rack. So for example, as you can see, there are a lot of hi-hats, close hats, open hats, lows, kicks, rims, snares, claps, and everything is here. So now, how can we use it? Everything is very easy, very simple. We start by creating a bar and we select that in the track where our instrument is. We right click on the selected bar and we click insert MIDI clip. Boom, that's it. So now if you expand this window, you can see that all the MIDI samples that we previously checked are now loaded. And let's start with building the drums. For starters, let's add the kick. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We can always just select the track like this and then hit Control C, Control D, duplicate it, copy paste, so have it exactly as it was previously created. Now let's add the snares so we can get the rhythm going. Right, can you feel that? Right, so let's copy paste that again. Delete the tail. Let's play that back. Yeah. Right. Now let's add some hi-hats to speed this thing up a little bit. Let's add closed hi-hats. And now, for example, this is a good time to go into the, into the draw mode. Your keyboard shortcut for this is B. And now I'm just gonna draw the hi-hats basically just like this.